Perfect.
Yes, now we're recording. So, welcome, Joanne. You're in Norway now, virtually. I'd like you to introduce yourself to my students and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Perfect. So, hi everyone. My name is Joanne. Thank you so much for even watching my videos or even like listening to me. I didn't think it would be all the way from Norway. So, I live here in Canada, specifically in Montreal. And what I do as a job, I work in tech. So, I am a management consultant, senior analyst within our data and AI practice. So, I'm a consultant at a base and I help organization unlock their value with data and AI. And it's really fun. I love what I do. And on the side, I also like to do TikToks for fun. So I guess that's how you guys found me. And I just started TikTok this year in June. My first video was June 16, and I was so nervous. And I didn't think my Italy adventures would blow up. And I know everyone says that, like, oh, it's not gonna blow up. But each video that I posted, I had like 1.2 million views, 600,000 views. I had people, DM me to be like, okay, when's part one, part two, part three, part four, part five? Like, quit your job and like focus on the content creation full time. And I didn't think it would resonate with so many people. So this is why we're here today to talk a little bit about my Italy adventures.
And also, I would like to ask you, out of all the countries that you visited, was Italy one of your favorites, or was it the one that became so famous on TikTok because of the events that occurred? What was it about Italy that made it special for you?
Yeah. So Italy became, I guess, famous because of like the girl trip that happened. My favorite country of all time, and I'm gonna be biased, it's definitely Ghana, just because like my family, they're from there and I have some roots there, and I'm actually going back in December. So I'm gonna do a little trip there. But Italy became so popular because the things I've said resonated with so many people. And it was my first time going on a girls' trip with that many people. Typically, when I travel, I'll either travel with my family or I'm going to travel with one friend. But this was the first time I traveled with three girls. And I like the food there. But I definitely realized that it's not for everyone. When you travel, there's certain countries that are going to be your favorite, and there's certain countries you're going to be like, okay, this was nice. I like to enjoy it, but I might not return. So this one is more of like, I liked where I was. Taormina was my um, favorite city in Italy, but would I go back to Rome? Probably not. I would travel maybe up north and maybe try Milan, Venice. But yeah,
When you were traveling throughout Europe, what
yeah,
was it like communicating with people and having English as your first language? Am I right? Is that English
yes,
is your first language? Because I
it is.
know that because of multiculturalism, some
Yeah,
people perhaps grow up speaking different languages. That's why
yeah.
I asked.
No,
Having English,
yeah.
how was that? Was that easier? Was it difficult sometimes? How did people view you as an
Yeah.
English speaker in Europe?
Yeah, that was actually a little tough. Only because like I speak English, I also speak French, and then in Ghana we speak Tree. So I understand three languages, and I know a little bit of a Spanish, but it's very beginner level. So when I went to Italy, I understand that the country is Italian, and that makes completely sense because that is their mother tongue. But when I went there, try to communicate with the locals, most of them didn't really know English. So that was difficult for us. So one of my friend, she knows five languages. She's a polyglot. She knew Spanish. And so even though we're in Italy and they're Italian, there were certain words in Spanish were kind of similar in Italian. So we're able to like pass by. But I think what I should have done, I should have took maybe a Duolingo class on my phone and learned the basic Italians. but I thought I would be okay because I was also traveling with an Italian with me. But she was what's it called? She felt insecure about it, her Italian, only because there's an accent. So in the people in Montreal, like we have Italians in Montreal, they speak with a different accent than the people homegrown in Italy, but it's comprehensible. So people understand her, but she didn't felt the confidence to speak with her second language.
Did you feel that there are places where countries where you've been where people spoke better English than others? For instance, here in Europe, everyone will know some English at least and on different levels.
Yeah.
So, which was the country where it was the easiest to communicate in English with people?
Yeah. Um, I haven't been, I've only been to Italy. That's the only country I've been in Europe. But let's say I've also been to Dubai and they understood perfectly. Ghana in Africa, they understood. And of course, the US, because it is an English speaking country. But I need to travel more in Europe. I want to try I actually want to try, oh my God, what's it called? I want to go to Croatia one day. I also want to go to Switzerland to go skiing and even Norway. So hopefully my English will be okay to try to communicate with everyone.
We hear a lot of stories about trips with friends, and yours was so interesting for my students because there was an element of drama, but also an element of reality, and also they learned from that experience that you had. So let's talk about it having an itinerary and having everything planned out. Do you think that how did that come about? How did you put everything together? And
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question because when I first posted the first part, which was the planning, in my comment section, I had some backlash. So some people said you need to go with the flow, or if you're too strict, like they wouldn't want to travel with me. But then I also had other people, they were like, oh, I found my people, the type A's, the people that like to plan. So for me, just because I've never been to Italy, and my friends, which I referred to them in the video as Salma and oh, I forgot the other one because I don't have their real names. I made sure to anonymize everyone's name, but two of my friends, they've been to Italy before. So when we went to Rome, they audibly told me, Joanne, Rome is whatever you want to do. Like this is the first time you're there. Whatever you want, we will do. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I need to like do the research and figure out where I want to go because in Montreal to Italy, it cost for a plane ticket alone, and we're not talking about Airbnb, a plane ticket alone, it was like $1,800 Canadian. So I was like, I'm not gonna spend all that money just to arrive there and not do anything. So how I planned it, I looked on TikTok videos. So I wrote places to go in Rome, and I also looked on the internet and I used ChatGPT to help me with my itinerary. And then because I'm very, how do you say that? Like a planner, I want to make sure every monument I go to, they're close to each other. Because I want to go point A to point B to point C. I don't want to do A, then G, and then go back to C, then Z. Because like there's a lot of walking to be made, and I wanted everything to be in order. So that's how I planned everything. I went to Google Maps. I also, when I would put the monument, I would check the calculation for walking distance. So it took me weeks to make this itinerary, and that's something I'm super proud of because even the people in the comment section, they told me that I could sell this. I could make a business out of this, but I was like, no. And when people asked my itinerary, I would just give it to them for free because I was like, this is free public knowledge. So here you go. So I learned that when you travel, Some people like to go with the flow, and some people like to go with an itinerary. So you need to have a discussion before you leave to foreign lands to figure out what type of person you are and who are you traveling with.
And I was going to ask about the names that because you blurred their faces when you
Yeah,
showed photos, and I
yeah,
felt like that was very smart because you never know if it's going to
yeah,
become something very
yeah.
popular or not, but just, so it's a good thing to respect their privacy.
Yes.
Did they ever find out that you made the TikToks, and what is their opinion about it if you know?
Yes. So two of my friends, and I don't know why I'm blanking on one of their names, but two of them, they saw my TikToks. They were actually so happy about it. And they even told me like, oh, Joanne, for part two, don't forget to say this. Because there's some parts where, mind you, this trip was last year, July. So some parts I forgot. And then they helped me remind me and be like, oh yeah, that's true. That did happen. So they were following the journey, and they would like every time I would drop a video, they would be the first one to comment. So my friends are actually in there. The people I travel are actually in there. When it came to Gigi, the one that I had a fallout with, she did text me and then she told me to take down the videos. And she said, if not, legal repercussion will be made. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I made sure everyone was anonymized. I blurred their faces. Their real names weren't used. So in a privacy aspect, I knew I was good legally because that's also part of my domain. So when it comes to like data privacy, like I knew that's what I had to do. So what happened was I traveled to New York this summer because it's like my second home. And when I came back, I saw that I had a cease and desist, and that was from Gigi. So the cease and desist just simply means that is a lawyer by the law is telling me that I need to put down my videos. So I read it through, and it said that, and like Gigi said, I have 24 hours to remove the videos. I have to write to her an apology letter. And then in the cease and desist, I was reading like what they were accusing me of. And there's a lot of statements that were misconstrued. So she said that I called her unclean or I called her a racist, and that never came out of my mouth. Those were interpretation of the viewers that put it in the comment section, but I can't be held responsible for what people are writing. So, what I did, and it's so funny, I actually have the season desist is right here, guys. I keep it with me for memories, but I went to go see a lawyer because I didn't want her to intimidate me. And my lawyer watched all my videos, and he thought I was entertaining. And he said, legally, I did nothing wrong, and legally, she does not have a case. If she wants to proceed, she could proceed to the case and we could go to court. However, the judge would just throw this away. So I told him to reply to the cease and desist, and he replied. And I haven't heard from her since then. And I saw that she deleted her social medias.
I was very curious about that because I feel like it is your story to tell. You were there
Yeah,
and you experienced these things, so it
yeah,
is your story to tell.
yeah,
And I know that people were curious about
yeah.
that. So, what would you say to teenagers who are planning a trip and want to go somewhere? Do you think it could still work for a group of friends to travel together? And what are the tips that you would give them?
Yeah, I would definitely say you have to know who you are as a person. So I know my core values. And when you travel with someone, you need to travel with someone that is similar to you in the core values, but also the type of activities they would like to do. So I did a mistake, and this again, was a learning curve for me. I thought, like, you know what? I'm traveling with my friends. I like my friends. We should be fine. I already traveled with one of them, and I knew I wouldn't have an issue with her. Gigi and Salma was the first time I traveled with them. But because I knew Gigi for the past 5 years, I just assumed it would be okay. But no, you need to have a serious discussion. So before you leave to another country or another city, you need to talk about the activities. Are you guys more adventurous or do you want to lay in the beach? Figure out like what is your lifestyle and what you guys like when it comes to money. So in Europe, well, sorry, not Europe, because I haven't been in the whole Europe, but in Italy, the concept was one bill. But in Canada, you could split the bill, as in, like, I pay for whatever I pay for. So in Europe, it wasn't like that. So someone would have to cover it. So that was, brand new to us. And then you have to also understand that you have to create a goal. Like, what do you guys want out of this? You want to have fun, or do you want to like lie down? But it could definitely work if you guys have an honest conversation before you leave to your trip.
I've been talking to them about possibly traveling to Brazil. I have an
Ooh.
apartment in Brazil, and I was hoping to bring people and have a fun trip. And I myself, I love the itinerary idea, how you and what you're telling us now about the distance between the
Yeah,
places, that makes perfect sense. And Brazil, depending on where you go,
yeah,
and if you're with the locals, you can be
yeah,
safe and have a fantastic time. So
yeah.
I've been talking to the students about that, as I have a lot of students who are learning Spanish, but
Oh,
Brazil is a Portuguese speaking
yeah,
country. But I do love what you mentioned before about the similarities between languages such as
yeah,
Italian and French and
yeah,
Spanish. You can use that and tap into that when
yeah,
you start learning yet another language. So it
yeah.
can all work. And are you planning any other trips in the near future?
Yes. So even though, and believe it or not, guys, like even though that like mishap happened in Italy, I still had fun. So yes, I lost a 5 year friendship. That is okay. But I've also learned a lot about me. So I am still going on a trip. So in December, I'm gonna go with my family solo, and I'm going to Ghana. And then in July of next year, two of my friends, and these are friends that I made friends with this year, so it's still brand new. We want to go to Portugal for Afro Nation. So it's just a festival for African, like Afrobeat music. And then one of my friend, she's graduating from law school in London in June, and she wants me to go to her graduation. And then she wants us to do sort of like a Euro trip. I've always talked about doing a Euro trip because I want to discover Europe. We haven't locked in the dates yet or the countries yet, but that is to be, I guess, determined. And the friends that I just mentioned that I want to travel with, they've all watched my Italy videos. So they know the type of person that I am. And I think like we've all aligned like with the type of activities we want to do. But I think like these people also have the same core values as me, meaning that when we travel together, we are together. Like some people think that like, okay, if I traveled with someone and I don't like what they do, I'm just gonna leave them alone and go to another city. And I don't believe in that because I believe in safety. So even though, let's say we had a an argument in Italy, and for example, people told me like, "Oh, you should have just went to the next town without your friend Gigi." I'm like, "No." Because at the end of the day, we all came to a foreign land together. We're all gonna leave together, even though we're not friends anymore, right? So I think that's the important of like character as a person, like who you are as a person. So yes, that was a very long-winded answer, but I am traveling again.
That's wonderful. That's just wonderful. And it's such a coincidence because I just talked to a young man from Ghana who
Oh,
lives here in Norway. He's married to a Norwegian woman, and he was talking about the difficulties of learning Norwegian and the difficulties of fitting in a
Yeah.
completely different world. But I've
Yeah.
been here for almost a quarter of a century, but I'm
Wow.
still learning. I feel like we're always still learning. And
How's it learning? Like I don't know Norwegian, so I'm thinking like if it's difficult like French, then I would have a hard time learning.
Norwegian, the grammar is not difficult. The
Okay,
the
good.
grammar is perfect. What is difficult are the sounds. For example, they have a lot of
Um,
and I feel like I have to do face aerobics to pronounce some of the words, some of the words. But that's yeah, but I can live with that because I
okay.
feel like it's just as long as they understand me
Yeah.
and people speak English. So if I get in
Oh,
trouble
perfect.
and all of a sudden I can't explain then I can just fall back on English.
Perfect. Automatically English it is. I'm gonna probably use English.
So I hope you do get to come to Scandinavia one day and you go to Norway and Sweden and Denmark and then you can stop and see us in Norway. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be perfect because we have Scandinavian spas. It's probably nothing like Norway. They just want to like, replicate it. So I'm like, if this is so amazing, I can't imagine the real thing in Norway. So I have to go.
So I want to thank you so very much for accepting to do this. It will be very entertaining and very interesting for them to learn about you and your experiences. So thank you so very much for that. And
Thank
I'll
you.
stay in touch with you and let you know how it went and give you feedback on how they received your interview.
Thank you. Thank you again for this opportunity. And thank you for the whole class for watching me. I didn't think it would be international like this. And I had fun. You have a wonderful professor. So keep on learning.
So thank you, Joanne.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.